Hello, everybody, and welcome to our YouTube Live. Today is Tuesday, and we wanted to give you an update. Today was an exciting day in immigration. President Biden signed 3 new executive orders. We're going to talk about them as well. We also have a new Department of Homeland Security Director, Alejandro Mayorkas. We wanted to congratulate the new director, and this is also going to be amazing news for immigration because he is very, very pro-immigration and he's done amazing things in his career. So we'll talk about that as well. But I know a lot of you have been asking me about what was going to happen today. Initially, we thought the executive orders that were going to be signed on Friday, but then the administration postponed it a little bit. And today we finally have those three new executive orders that were signed. So I'm going to go through those orders, and obviously those of you that are joining right now, make sure that you let me know where you're from. I want to welcome Nadeg. I want to welcome let me see here, Enoch. We have a lot of our usual viewers: Kaur, Ari, Hema, Injin, Hiba. Welcome. Once again, I appreciate all of you, and make sure that you stay tuned. So let's talk about what happened today. Let me share my screen. Let me see if I can do this. So what we have here is the White House website, where we can see the executive orders. So we have the first one is the executive order on the establishment of interagency task force on the reunification of families. I'm going to go over briefly over all of them. Then we got the executive order on creating a comprehensive regional framework to address the causes of migration, to manage migration from Central America, and to provide safe and orderly processing of asylum. And then we have executive order on restoring faith in our legal immigration system, strengthening integration, inclusion efforts of new Americans. So let's go through these executive orders and see what's important here. What is important really here for you guys. So let's talk about that. So the first one is, here we go. Let's share my screen right there. And we've got the executive order on the establishment of interagency to deal with the situations on the border. So essentially, we're going to be addressing the issues that are happening at the border, going through the whole asylum process, stopping the policy of not letting people coming into the border applying for asylum. I mean, Trump made it very, very difficult for families to apply for asylum, separation of families. So I think this task force is going to focus on, first of all, what happened during the Trump administration. They're going to review all that, and of course, they're going to stop immediately the process of separating families at the border. This is something that has been really, really problematic under the Trump administration. And so this task force is going to review a lot of the things that are happening over there. I think that one of the things that is interesting with this task force is that we have a lot of issues with the previous administration, where essentially they were trying to justify why they need to separate families at the border, why they need to do this to deter people from coming in here. And I think that this task force is going to look at, first of all, trying to make sure that nobody's separated anymore, but also looking at the right procedures of how people are going to be applying for asylum, and essentially not really open the floodgates for people to come, but also make it humane, make it, people who are escaping their countries are doing it for a special reason. And just the idea is that when they come to our borders, at least make it humane for them to be able to come here and be able to stay here and somehow streamline that process. So let's take a look at the second executive board order that I wanted to address, and this is the one that is called Executive Order on Restoring Faith in Our Legal Immigration System and Strengthening Integration and Inclusion Efforts um, um, for New Americans. Now, what is interesting in this executive order is that it's going to require the agencies, USCIS, it's going to require them to do what is called a full thorough analysis of their operations. They're gonna get a certain timelines to go through all their memos, agency policies that they were issued during Trump's administration. And this to me is the most important executive order that he signed today, because there's so many things happen, so many policies that didn't make sense and put so much burden on us, like raising the fees, specifically review of these agency policies, and specifically it's mentioned here that they're going to review the public charge policy, which I mentioned to you before in previous videos, that we're waiting for them to do something about it. So there's a specific language here in this executive order to review the public charge. Let me show you this in my screen right now. You can see in section 4 here, right there, it says immediate review of the agency action on public charge and everything that goes around it, whether it's appropriate, not appropriate, implementation. So while he didn't completely reverse the public charge, there's going to be a full review the different agencies, because I think the reason we did it that way is that they can at least justify why public charge shouldn't be on the plate, and they could remove it safely without being challenged by the courts. So that's really important. And the other thing is that they're going to be reviewing, if you look at section 5, it's improving the naturalization process. So they're going to be checking, whether our naturalization process it makes sense, how to make it better, maybe looking at the test, maybe looking at some other things there, and essentially taking some time to review those specific processes. In this case, what is important for me and for a lot of our viewers is the public charge. I do believe that after the process of review, once they realize that it doesn't really make sense to have it, there'll be an order for the public charge to completely be eliminated. And I'm expecting this to happen probably in the next 60 to 90 days. And with the citizenship process, just looking at why is it taking so long for people to become citizens, the wait times, maybe the test itself. I mean, who knows what else they're going to do, but it is an important message to say that they're going to be reviewing and making sure that this whole system is going to be streamlined. And so again, I was really expecting more today. I was expecting to see, for example, the ban, the proclamation to be lifted. That didn't happen today. And none of the proclamations were lifted. That was not even mentioned in any of these executive orders. So, it's some of the things that, we're hoping that he was going to do, but they didn't do it. This is basically, the third executive order is basically focused on the southern border and the asylum system. So essentially looking at, what's happening at the border, how the system works, and essentially working with the government to make sure that we don't have any loopholes, and the system is fair and flowing. So it's a good step. Obviously, I feel that there's a lot of positivity here, but I think the biggest point is that Biden is saying that I didn't create any new law today. I'm basically fixing what wasn't working before. That's kind of the gist of what happened today. I was really hoping that the proclamations will be lifted. I mean, for me, that was like the big one, and I know a lot of our clients are waiting, and but this didn't happen. So so let's see what happens. But I'm having a video. I recorded a video that's coming up this week about the K-1, the status of K-1s, what's happening with K-1s, what's happening with embassies when they're going to reopen. So Hopefully this update will be helpful for you, so make sure you watch that video. But again, in today's orders, they were very general. Obviously, it kind of continues with what happened on the first day of inauguration, that he's working on making a lot of changes, but we didn't see anything concrete today. There was no any new law that was created, no new programs created. Essentially, the gist of it that they're going to review. Administration is going to review a lot of the policies that were issued by Trump, specifically public charge and the naturalization process, and they're going to come to conclusions. Hopefully, they'll change those as well. So this is kind of like how we see it. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll answer a few of those questions. And let's see here. I'll probably go back live as well later this week as we have more information about all this. But right now, let me try to get some of your questions here. Let me see here. So here's a good question. What about I-944 from Frangel? So remember, this executive order hasn't canceled the public charge. As you know, right now there's a court injunction, and in many states the I-94 public charge is not enforced, but we don't have a general notification yet from USCIS that the public charge is completely out. But whatever stands is still remains to this day. So whatever rules were before this proclamation still remain to this day. Unisa, what about Proclamation 10-114? Remember that those proclamations were not lifted today, so we don't have any information from the Biden administration about when they're going to lift those proclamations. We hope it's going to happen in the near future, and hopefully he's going to have another announcement when he's going to lift those proclamations. Let's see. Let me take a few more questions. But we have a lot of videos coming up for you guys in the next week. We got a video update about K1s. I've got a video update about consulates. I've got a video update and information about some new policy changes with USCIS with respect to what happened with the fee increase. I'm going to make that video about that, an update about the fee increase. Malisbeth says, any update about the F2A visa category? So remember, the ban that you're talking about, the spouses of green card holders, that ban is still, unfortunately, in effect. Biden did not lift those proclamations, so let's see what happens. We're waiting to hear. We will. I'm trying to get a few more questions here. There's a lot of questions coming in. I think Destiny, when will the ban lift? So that's a good question. We don't know that. I was expecting this to happen today. Honestly, I was really hoping that the ban will be lifted today, but we don't know yet. So, but hopefully we'll get some more news in the next few weeks. Everybody's talking about the ban. Everybody wants to know about the ban. I don't have any news about the ban, unfortunately, but it will come. I mean, we hope that this administration will realize that they need to do something positive, right? So, let me see here. But remember, with respect to the proclamations, the original proclamations of April and June are still intact. We have the travel ban that was extended to South Africa as well. The travel ban is still on, which means that if you come from the Schengen countries, if you come from Brazil, South Africa, you cannot enter the U.S. unless you quarantine for 14 days. That is still on. And what about DACA? Well, DACA, there's an executive order about DACA. DACA is preserved, and DACA is not going anywhere. So once again, guys, hopefully this information was helpful. I will see here. Perfect. So hopefully this information was helpful. If you do want to talk to me directly, there is a phone number right here. You can text me right there and set up a meeting to talk to me about your case. I'm more than happy to help you. And if you're here for the first time, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our live videos. I promise you to come back live as soon as I have more information. I will be back here to update you, and more videos are coming. I started to do the short videos as well, and hopefully you like my shorts. Just come into the app and you can see them just like on TikTok. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Happy Tuesday, and hopefully I'll be able to give you some better news. But to conclude, we had 3 executive orders that were signed today. One is focused on family reunification, one is focused on asylum and the border, and one is focused on full review of Biden's policies, specifically public charge and citizenship. So let's hope for better news ahead. Stay tuned to our videos, and thank guys for being a supportive subscriber. I appreciate all of you, every single one of you. Thank you so much.